Hey, what's up, Logos American History students? It is Wednesday, July 1st, 2020. That's right, July 1st. We have made it through June, through May, through April. We've done it all from home, e-learning. We are on the 67th day of our e-learning experience. We've probably been home for near 100 days, if not more, at this point. So it's been a long haul, and I appreciate you guys sticking with it. We are just about done with week 4 of term 6. That means we just got a couple more weeks left in the term, a couple more weeks left in the school year. It's July. I can't believe it, right? Pretty soon it'll be 4th of July weekend. Have a nice long weekend to recharge your batteries, and then we got that final sprint to the end of the term 2 weeks after this weekend. So we got a little bit of work left to do, but the end is in sight. The finish line is there. So let's stick with it. Let's go ahead and get into this blackboard and get to work. Let's take a look. Let's see here. There it is. Start off on our class bulletin board page for American History. 6th term, 4th hour, 2L, meaning second lunch, right? If we were in school, you'd be having this class either 4th hour or 6th hour. It doesn't matter. It's the same class either hour because we're not even in school. You're not in room 136, and you can have lunch whenever the heck you want. First lunch, second lunch, who cares? We're home. I like the home learning. I know it has its challenges, but it's nice having that flexibility, right? That you don't have to follow the set schedule. I wonder if there's anyone out there who does. Do you do your classes in order when you're doing your schoolwork for the day? You do your first hour class and then you do your second hour class? That's cool if you do. But that's the good news, that we do have some flexibility in this, and again, it's kudos to you who've stuck with it despite the challenges, and I hope that for some of you at least, this has been kind of a welcome change and has worked out well for you. Not that I don't want to get back into school, I do, and I can't wait till we're back in the fall. But like I said, we got a little bit of work left to do for this school year before we start thinking about next school year. Beginning with the e-learning instructions here, we take a look at them, and I just want to mention we do have that class Zoom meeting tomorrow at 11 a.m. It's our weekly Zoom meeting. It'll be our last activity for this class of the week because we're all off on Friday, and so I would like to see great attendance at that 11 a.m. Zoom meeting. Look for the link to that Zoom meeting to pop up on class bulletin board later today. Also be on the lookout. I'll be sending the invite to you via email and or Blackbaud message, and it will also be under the assignments tab. And it is an assignment, right? It is for a grade. It is for credit. So it's a really easy way to bring your grade up just by logging in. And that's not the most important reason to do it. The most important reason is I like to be able to see and hear from all of you, and we can share the knowledge of American history with each other. And we've been talking about really recent American history lately. If we go to our topics tab, you can see our most recent topic that we started yesterday and we're continuing today is the 1990s, which the 1990s is it's a big decade for me personally and for our country as far as shaping present day America. And I mean that in the politics of the 1990s were different from previous decades we've learned about so far this term. If you look at who the presidents were and who the president was in the 1990s, it's different. Bill Clinton was the first baby boomer president, the first of, now we've had 4 in a row baby boomer presidents, and we may have a 5th if Joe Biden. So that's a big deal. More so than that, he was a Democrat, right? And he was the first 2-term Democrat president for a long time, going back to, I don't even know. Who was the last before Clinton? FDR, maybe? So that was a big deal. But then also, I like this picture of Clinton here because what does it show Clinton doing? He's on the internet, right? Now, what's he looking at on the internet? I don't want to know. But that was a big deal. I mean, again, the internet has shaped our country. And also, something we're going to look at today with the assignment for today, and you see the download for the assignment and the embedded questions from Google Forms. We have a Skills for Life activity, which I know some of you aren't biggest fans of those, but it's a nice change of pace. There's a lot less reading involved. It's just one page reading. The questions are a little more involved and a little more challenging sometimes for some people, but that's okay. It's good to challenge yourself from time to time. But I like the topic of this Skills for Life. If we download it, it talks about, and again, this is an issue that we're still dealing with to this day, but we really saw it becoming an issue in the 1990s. And we're talking about predicting consequences. And the consequences that we're trying to predict are the consequences that are the result of demographic changes in our country. Demographics refers to a lot of things, can refer to age, gender. In particular, we're looking at race and ethnicity in this country. And the racial, ethnic makeup of the population of our country, as we know, has changed over history. It's changed a lot in the past 30 years, right? In the past 3 decades, the 90s, early 2000s, and the 2010s. So much so that America, which has always been a majority white nation, is not going to be a majority white nation anymore. One consequence that we're predicting is that as a result of immigration, right, and we're talking about non-European immigration, for years and years and years and years and years and years and years in our country's history, most immigrants to our country were white, right? They were from Europe. And that is no longer the case, right? Most immigrants in the past 30 years have been non-white, and most of them have been Latino, right? Meaning from Latin American countries. Latin America refers to anything south of the United States, right? Mexico, Central America, South America, the Caribbean, Spanish-speaking countries, right? And so, this has changed what America looks like. And the question is, what are the consequences of this? And so the skill that you're practicing is looking at a chart, being able to make sense of this data, but then also trying to, interpret this data, make inferences based on what we know about laws. And so make sure you read this, learn the skill part, because it's going to talk about the Immigration Acts of 1965 and 1990, which play a big role in this. We didn't see non-white immigration to our country for a long time because the law didn't allow it in this country. Yes, the law was racist and said only white people can immigrate to the United States in large numbers, and only small numbers of non-whites, Asians, Latinos, were allowed to immigrate under the law. Well, the law changed in 1965, and it changed again in 1990, and what do we see? We see increases in non-white immigration as a result. So that's a big part of this. But then also it's about what's the skill we're practicing? Predictions, right? Making predictions based on what we're seeing trends of. So if this is what's been the trend so far, what do we think is going to happen in the future, right? That's the point of this. And that's the skill that you're going to be practicing with these 3 practice the skill questions. There's more than 3 questions, 1A, 1B, 1C, and so forth. But they're not that long. So you're going to work on these. As always, you can find these either embedded under the Topics tab as a Google form, or you can go to the Assignments tab and you'll find them there as an assignment that you can submit either online or through the Google Forms. You will also find in that Assignments tab our question of the day. And so let's look at our question of the day. The question of the day has to do with the census, right? I don't know if any of you have heard of the census, but let's read the question of the day. Do you know if your family has completed the 2020 census yet? My family has. Hopefully your family has. It's okay if you haven't. You still have time. Why do you think it's so important that everyone completes it? What changes, if any, do you think will be shown in the number of families in the U.S. from different races and ethnicities? So what is the census? The census is every 10 years. So it's 2020, so it's a census year. The last one was 2010. The government tries to count everybody in America. They do their best to get an accurate count of everybody in America. And it's important for a lot of reasons. If you want to know why, there's a link there to 2020census.gov, which is where you can actually complete the census, right? This is the site right here. But also you can learn about why you should take the census. Your response matters, right? They got all kinds of information about why it's so important to respond to the census, and it doesn't take that long. But then also, on this question of the day, if we go back to that, let's see. There is a photo here that if you click on it and open in a new tab, you can see a larger version of it. It looks like this, right? And again, this is something that the Census Bureau does as well with the data, is they look at demographics and changes over time. And they make predictions, just like you're going to be making, right? The population by race and Hispanic origin, 2012 and 2060. So 2012 is like the last year they have data for from the 2010 census. And based on that data, and like I said, the 2020 data is going to show this type of trend. This is what we expect to see in 2060. And what we expect to see is a decrease in the number of white Americans as a percentage of the population, and an increase in the percentage of non-white Americans, whether it's black, Asian, or Hispanic. Hispanic's going to see the biggest increase, right? 17% of the population in 2012, they're predicting 31% of the population by 2060 will be Hispanic. Question of the day asks, does this matter? And I want to know what you guys think. Does it matter? Does any of this matter? So go ahead and submit your answer to the question of the day. Work on those practice the skill questions. And as always, if you have any questions or concerns, please let me know. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow in the Zoom meeting. Peace.